Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka BatBomb82, and today I'll be doing a review of the Masters of the Universe Revelation Masterverse Trapjaw. Now take a look at the front, we can see that the figure is showcased in that deluxe style window box packaging. Turning the box around, we can see some great work of Trapjaw, and on the right, a short bio. And at the bottom, a bunch of other figures from the lineup. So with the box out of the way, let's go ahead and crack this figure open and let him breathe. Alright guys, now let's take a closer look at Trapjaw here. Now this is one figure, man, I had to have this. Trapjaw's just one of my favorite, like I know a lot of you, he's one of my favorite Motu characters. And I am kind of being picky with the Masterverse figures. I'm kind of just cherry picking here and there. But I definitely had to have this Trapjaw, man, because I thought he looked so cool in the show. And this is one that I just needed to own. So if you take a look at his head sculpt here, I think it looks so freaking good. The silver paint on the little kind of semi-spikes, the flattened spikes on the helmet with the ring right there with the vintage toy looks super cool. The jaw itself looks awesome. It's really nice and huge. I think the head looks pretty goofy. You know, the eyes look awesome and the paint looks great. But once you open up the jaw, you have his tongue sticking out with the like kind of gross and gnarly. So that looks kind of funny. And obviously because he's pretty much missing his lower jaw, which is why it's like that. And that would naturally happen. Your tongue would just pretty much fall and hang out of your mouth if you didn't have your lower jaw, you know what I mean? So that looks cool. It looks goofy to me, but also it looks gross, and I think that's how it's supposed to be. So that works out for me. I just close the jaw up if you don't like that, and I think that looks out really cool too. I love the suit itself, or the armor I should say. A really nice gunmetal that we get in there all the way throughout the arm. Looks really, really good. That back armor looks nice too. I love the texture in the skin here that we get. The loincloth piece looks good. The gauntlet here looks nice because I love the two-tone greens, and again, that more of that gunmetal on there. Same thing on the arm. You have that kind of like techno piece built into his arm there, which looks really good. You got that skull and crossbones logo on the belt, which is so vintage Trapjaw. I love that. You even got the hoops in the belt right there for his accessories. The legs look great. I love how the legs turned out. The paint could be better on my thigh pieces right, the green. It looks a little globbed on. You'll see some spotting in there, so not perfect, but it's not terrible. I've seen a lot worse. And then the legs themselves look awesome. I love these big bulky knee pads. Again, still very vintagey, but just very much their own style. I think it looks really cool. But I love the two-tone black with the gunmetal and a little more of a silver right here on the little rivet right there. It looks nice. The feet look awesome. Pivot holes, portholes or peg holes, thank you, because I know this stuff, at the bottom of the feet right there. Looking really good, man. So yeah, I just love the way this figure looks. I think it suits the character perfect. I think they really captured the look of the Netflix show, so really, really happy the way he turned out. So now moving on to accessories here, we do get an interchangeable hand there, so on that standard straight peg, so we get the open palm hand like that, and then we do get more of a type of gripping hand fist for the other side like so. But of course, this is Trapjaw. You got to have his interchangeable weapons here. So you got the long blaster, again, looking really, really good. I love the black and the gunmetal two-tone like that. Looks really nice. I'm really stoked that it's not just one solid piece, or one solid color, excuse me. But these are also just on that standard straight peg, much like the wrists are. And then you have the really cool hook hand, again, done in the silver and gunmetal. Looks really nice too. And I also really love this one here. Now, what's funny is the claw weapon is usually my least favorite of the Trapjaw weapons here. And man, that is on tight. So when you get that on, just be very careful. You don't want to snap that peg. Probably just give it a little twist to get on there a little better. But anyways, I think the claw hand on this particular figure looks great. This might be the way I display him. I actually prefer, I know a lot of people prefer the gun. I actually prefer the hook. It gives him kind of a little techno pirate vibe. I don't know, that's just me. But I love the claw, just the way they designed it. I just think it looks really cool. And again, that silver paint on there for the blades themselves, the claw itself, looks really, really nice. Now again, he does have these pegs or holes right here on the side of the belt, and you can get them on there. They are a little tight, but you can do it. So you can get them both on there, put this one on this side as well, like that. So again, you can do it. Me personally, they're a little too bulky for the side of the belt, so you know, you can't put his arms down as naturally as you would like. You kind of have to put them behind the accessory. So I kind of wish these were more placed towards the back of the figure. That would have just been my personal preference, but if you like this, it's there for you. Again, just very, very trap jollies, which I personally love, but he still looks really cool, man. So I do dig how they even included that. Okay, so I want to show off his Techno Cult robes, which I think is super cool that he came with that stuff. So you're going to have to remove the belt here, and the belt will ride up when you're posing around and things like that. So it's a little annoying, but you can just push it back down and line it up okay. This does have a little peg right there on the back, and you can pull that right off. Head pops off very easily. I love how these heads interchange. They're just so easily done on these Masterverse figures for the most part. So what we're going to do, get to play dress up with my little dolly now. He has this little robe piece with just soft goods. Feels pretty nice, you know, not as cheap as I've seen with some of the other Mattel figures, but it's still pretty good. You're going to pull the arms forward like this and kind of come from the front here and just pull this over all the way up and over like that, over his shoulders. And there's a Velcro strip on the back like that, so we can line that up right there. And now he has this little night out on the town dress, looking good with his sexy legs. I love that. But now we're gonna get this whole awesome shoulder to tunic piece that goes over that like so. And then we're gonna get his belt. This is also a separate piece that can wrap around there like that. And it does have a little peg hole just like the previous belt, so we can peg that on there like that too. It's a really nice fit, like that. Boom. And then we just take his head and put it right back on, and there you go. Now you have him in his Techno Cult robes, which I think looks so rad, man. I loved this aspect of the show. When we saw Triclops like leading this new cult, I was like, wow. Because the whole thing is like, Motu is a mix of magic and science, and it looks like some of these guys just pretty much gave up on magic and now they're straight up worshiping science, which was really cool. And you know, Triclops is the leader of this cult. I saw them all their robes, like, oh, that's actually a really cool look. And I think this whole tunic piece looks great, man. The belt, even the texturing on the robes here looks awesome. I will bring in the Triclops here because I actually do have this Triclops, which again just looks so cool. Seeing these guys side by side looks awesome, man. And his whole headpiece just it's so cool. I love it. He has a cape on the back. He has that more rubbery material going on the back right there. But so cool seeing these side by side, and the big reveal, you know, spoiler alert, that it's actually the evil Horde and Hordak that they're kind of worshiping. That was awesome, man. I was all in when I saw them doing this Techno Cult, and then the big reveal at the very end sold me even more. So yeah, very, very happy with the way this looks. So now moving on to his articulation here, standard Masterverse type stuff. The head is on a ball peg, so that rolls around. Does turn left and right kind of at an angle, so it kind of like, instead of turning side to side this way, it kind of like hinges up and down because he's kind of hunched over, you know what I mean? So when you tilt his head to the left or right, it's going to be at that angle, and you guys know what I'm talking about. So up and down, rock side to side barely. Arms go full 360, up and out that far, rotation at the bicep. We do get a double jointed elbow for this arm, but because of the bulk of the gauntlet here, it's pretty much non-existent. Like, I don't even think that's a full 90, you know what I mean? Rotation at the wrist as well as a hinge at the wrist. Same thing with over here, rotates at that bicep. You get a single bend at the elbow there. You can rotate where the cut is, where you can insert the different weapons. Ball peg in that midsection, rotate, pivot, crunch back and forth a tiny bit. Hips can kick forward that far, back about that much, splits all the way out that far, rotation of the upper thigh. We got double jointed knees that actually work very nicely. We can rotate at the boot right here, just behind that little cut, and then ankles go up, down, and a sweet ankle rocker. So overall, I'm so happy with this. Again, I love Trapjaw. I love the look of him. He's so iconic. Just one of those, again, iconic villains with these really weird colors. I mean, you gotta be a pretty badass to rock a pink helmet like that. You know what I mean? So I think it's super cool. I love the whole techno thing they got going on with that cult. How you can interchange them and make them like a completely different look the way he was on the show, which I love. I think that's awesome. Again, like many of you, I might have to buy a second one just so I could display both versions because I love it that much. So definitely a must get. So for a quick size comparison, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends Deadpool and Mafex Batman figure. Also for comparison, here he is standing next to the Masterverse Man-at-Arms and Triclops. And for even more comparison, here he is standing next to the Origins Trapjaw and Mythic Legion's Krona. And just for fun, here he is with little Lego Bat Bomb. So there it is, guys, my review of the Masterverse Trapjaw. Now overall, I think this is one badass figure. Now I know a lot of people aren't into the proportions and the style of this particular line, but I enjoy them. They're a lot different from the more upper body buff, super ridiculous proportions, which I think a lot of people are just used to, and they're not used to something like this when it comes to Motu. People tend to forget that a lot of people said the same thing about the 2000X toys, and now in retrospect, a lot of people love that toy line. But still, I think this figure is awesome, man. The colors are just perfect. He is so iconic with that blue skin, pink and green armor. I think it's just so rad, and they came out so well. I love the arm attachments with the gun, hook, and claw. That new claw with that silver and a redesigned claw looks great. I love the fact that we're getting the Techno Cult robes. I think it's a really cool look, and it was a really cool part of the storyline for the show. So I love that aspect of the character, and plus, it's Trapjaw, man. He's, in my opinion, I think a lot of your opinions, one of the best Motu characters out there, and this is definitely a great piece that'll look awesome in your collections. So be excellent to each other, and stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.